Hey everybody, happy Thanksgiving. This is Tim from the LV with a special holiday version of SCE. And I just want to wish you and your family and everybody watching the best Thanksgiving you ever had. This is my favorite holiday of the entire year. Absolutely love it. For those of our friends in Canada, you celebrated this about a month ago. And for those of you overseas, you've got your own timetables. Hopefully, if you don't have Thanksgiving, you take time out to practice it, because every single day is an awesome day to be grateful and to express thanks for what we have and the good things in our lives. So I'm sitting in the middle of a dried up pond, and there's a specific reason for that, and it directly relates to Thanksgiving. This pond behind me at one time was full of life and fish and water and plants and just booming. But somewhere along the way, it became unhealthy and it dried up. And even though it was continuing to get water and receive water, it still sort of died. It got that hard coat of moss on top of it, and eventually, formed into mud, and the water evaporated, and the pond itself just sort of dried up to now it's just one big dried up mud hole. And the reason for that, if you walk around to the back side of the pond, is because the pond stopped giving any water out. It stopped releasing water. Any body of water needs two components to be healthy. It needs, first of all, to receive water from somewhere, and then it needs to give that water out to another source. And it's in the giving and the receiving of that water that allows it to be healthy. The water stays fresh, it circulates, the fish and the animals in the water thrive, and it becomes a super healthy ecosystem. But if either of those stop occurring, if it either stops receiving or stops giving, it dies. And that's a perfect analogy for the Thanksgiving holiday. The Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. was resurrected, or actually enhanced, by President Lincoln in 1863. And during the time the U.S. was going through its great Civil War, the war between the states, the war between the North and the South. And it was the most hellish time in U.S. history. And Lincoln recognized that if we didn't change the spiritual, emotional, intellectual temperature of the nation, that very well the nation could be destroyed. So he decreed that there would be a day of thanks practiced every November that paralleled what the Pilgrims started hundreds of years earlier. And as a result, everybody took time to give thanks to God for the good things in their life. And in doing that, it changed the focus from the horror of the war to the provision that was still going on despite the war, to the good things that were occurring, to the opportunities and the potential that still existed. And a lot of scholars think that that was one of the instrumental moments that actually helped to change the direction of the Civil War and change the emotional, spiritual, intellectual temperature of the country. And the reason for that is when you give thanks, you are giving out. You have output. So many times people just take and they just say, hey, what can I get? How can this benefit me, etc. And like this pond, if all you do is receive water from an outside source, it's going to dry up. If your life is only about receiving from an outside source, eventually you're going to dry up. You have to give out. You have to give output in order to continue to receive, because when this pond gets water coming in and going out, it keeps everything fresh. Well, the same thing is true for us. When we get in-sources coming into our lives and blessing us, but we also have an output where it benefits and blesses others, it keeps us fresh. Plus, when we give and when we give out, and we have that source of output, it creates a vacuum. And nature and the universe and God hate a vacuum, and will do everything possible to fill it. So that vacuum creates additional space for more and more to flow into our lives. So a healthy pond is going to have an abundance of water coming in and an abundance of water going out. A healthy life or a healthy person is going to have things flowing into their life that are good, but they're also going to be giving back and giving things out to other people, whether it's finances, emotions, experiences, whatever the case may be. And we know that when we give, when we have that output, those things come back to us, because that vacuum gets created in our lives, and nature is going to do everything it can to fill it. Whatever you need, and we've talked about this before, whatever you need in your life, whether it's more positive emotions or healthy relationships or friendships or finances or whatever the case may be, find a way that you can give that to somebody else and help them achieve that goal. Because by giving that, it enriches their lives. You get to see their happiness, their satisfaction. You're going to walk away with satisfaction, and it also creates that vacuum for more awesome things to flow into your life. And many times the things that we sow into somebody else or that we give to somebody else come back to us, and they come back to us exponentially. And we're not giving in order to try to get. We're giving in order to try to benefit somebody else. But the universe responds and does give back to us what we put out. And just like this pond needs to take in and give out, we too need to take in and give out. And one of the easiest ways to give out is just simply through gratitude, through the giving of thanks. And that's what Thanksgiving is all about. Lincoln knew that, well, that's what it was about. And we know that's what it's about. And today we're taking time to give thanks for all the awesome things in our lives. And by recognizing that and giving that, it changes our focus to the positive. It opens the doors for more good things and opportunities to flow into us. It changes our emotional and spiritual state, makes us more inclined to give. And as a result of that, it benefits other people and it benefits ourselves. So today, sure, I don't have to remind you, but make sure you're taking time to give thanks for all the awesome things that are in your life. And if you can, find a way to be a benefit to somebody else. The more you do that and do that every day, the richer your life is going to be, the more awesome things are going to flow to you, and the greater impact you're going to have on those people around you. And having an impact on people and making their lives better, it's one of the best things in life. It doesn't get much better than that. So, Tim from the LV, hoping and praying and believing that you're going to have the best Thanksgiving ever. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon. Have an awesome, awesome holiday.